I apologize for the furnace. It's mid-January, it's cold, the furnace is just going to be going on and off the whole time I record this. It's mid-January 2022, and I figure it's time to do a year in review for 2021, at least pertaining to running. But to talk about my running in 2021, we first have to talk about 2018. 2018, I was 36 years old and had realistically never run. In July that year, I purchased my first pair of running shoes and went running outside. My first run was a 3K and I was hooked. I loved it. I went out frequently. I had a little diary going on Facebook where I took sunrise photos and tracked my progression, and it felt amazing. In September, I ran a 10K race, getting an official time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, but I hit a 10K split of 59 minutes, so I was really happy with that. In November, I got really sick. So sick that I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to exercise again. It took 2 years before I could do light exercise again. So in March of 2021, when I did decide to finally put on my running shoes again, I was 20 pounds heavier and in the absolute worst condition of my adult life. But I did put on the shoes and I went out for a 2-kilometer walk run, and it was miserable. It was abysmal. It hurt. I came back and spent the rest of the morning trying not to throw up. I really struggled with whether or not I was going to post that to Facebook. Was I going to put that in my little running diary? In the end, I did, and all the likes gave me some much needed dopamine hits, and the comments were extremely helpful. It still took me a week before I threw on the shoes and went out for another run. But I did, and I did it again and again and again. Every time I went out, I ran a little bit longer, I walked a little bit less, and it got better. It hurt every time. I don't want to sugarcoat this. April, May, June, running hurt. I set 3 goals for myself. The first was to enjoy running as much as I could. And it's hard to say that running hurt and I enjoyed it, but somehow that is true. My second goal was to not get injured. I wanted running to be sustainable, both mentally and physically. And my third goal was to run a 10K distance. I knew that I couldn't match my pace from 2018, but I had to get the distance. That was important to me. It wasn't until July that I broke the 5K barrier. At the end of July, I found my training plan from 2018. Oh, here comes the furnace, good and loud. And I followed it with the goal of running a 10K on what would have been race weekend. Although my pace didn't increase, my distances did. By the end of August, I actually ran a 10K distance on what should have been a 7 or 8K training run. Come September, I ran my 10K and it felt amazing.
All right, there we go. 10K in an hour, 11 minutes.
October, I tried trail running for the first time and I loved that. That was just so amazing. It helps that October in Ottawa is a very pretty time to be out and about. October 23rd, I hit a meaningless and amazing milestone. I hit 300 kilometers of running for the year, which the logical side of my brain says is nothing. The emotional side of my brain says, that's amazing. Having hit 300 kilometers, I did the math and figured that if the weather held for 5 to 6 weeks, I could hit 400 kilometers for the year. In early November, I decided to sign up for a 100-kilometer challenge on Strava. As the weather grew colder, I kept expecting to run into some sort of barrier, something that would stop me from running, and it just never happened. So I hit 400 kilometers for the year, and I decided to try for 500.
Something I've been thinking about, though. You know what sounds even better than 400 kilometers in a season? 500.
I hit 130 kilometers in the month of November. In December, I ran my first 10-mile run.
10 miles done. First time ever. And what a day to do it. Minus 10 Celsius.
I hit 100 kilometers in the month of December as well. And then on January 1st, 2022, I headed out for what was supposed to be a 10K run. And I ran a half marathon. I ran just shy of 22 kilometers. I had originally been planning to run a half marathon in October of 2022. I thought it was going to take me a year to train up to it. So now my goals for 2022 are I'm going to run a half marathon in February. I'm going to run a obstacle course race, Spartan or something like that. And then I'm going to run a properly long race. I don't know if it's going to be a 30-kilometer trail race or a marathon or what, but it's going to be something really long. Well, really long by my standards. 2021 was a pretty shitty year all around. Omicron, Delta, lockdowns, you name it, it was a rough year for most people. But it was a good year for my running. And I really hope 2022 is better. I've got high hopes for 2022. So far, I've been keeping up on the running, even down to minus 35 degrees. I've been out there. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I wish you all the best in 2022. Cheers. Take care of yourself.